Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ASME Foundation's Philanthropic Impact Event 2021. It's great to have so many of you joining us. My name is Keith Rowe, and I'm proud to chair the ASME Philanthropic Committee and the Campaign for Next Generation Engineers. On behalf of everyone on the philanthropy team and the members of the host committee, thank you for being with us today. The work of the ASME Foundation is to support and empower a diverse, inspired next generation of engineers. We believe the future depends on it. So many of humanity's most critical challenges, from taming the pandemic to renewing our nation's infrastructure, from medical breakthroughs to climate action, demand the ingenuity of engineers. As we have witnessed throughout our lives, engineering changes everything. Over the next hour, you're going to meet some of the students and young engineers who benefit from our extraordinary programs, as well as the volunteers and supporters who make this work possible. We'll also introduce you to a transformative new community college program we're launching this year. We're going to hear from the recipient of one of ASME's most prestigious awards, and we'll meet some young ASME ISHOW innovators who are improving quality of life for countless people around the world. We have a very special keynote address coming up by Chandrakant Patel, the Chief Engineer and Senior Fellow at Hewlett-Packard. The through line that unites all this work is expressed in ASME Foundation's three core beliefs. First, engineering changes everything. Simply put, new technologies advance civilization. Second, diversity drives innovation. The more varied the voices at the table, the more creative and inspired the outcome. And finally, the brilliant solutions that engineers produce must benefit every human being. Hopefully you share these values and will be encouraged by what you see and hear today to join me and so many others in support of ASME's program. Thank you again for joining us. Now, to get us started, we have a short video that will give you a bird's eye view of what the ASME Foundation is all about.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kathleen Lobb, Executive Director of the ASME Foundation and Managing Director of ASME Philanthropy. The ASME Foundation supports a suite of powerful programs that are organized into three core pillars: teaching young people to think like an engineer through education that inspires, helping diverse students and young engineers pursue meaningful careers that matter, and propelling brilliant young problem solvers to develop ideas that innovate. Today, we're going to highlight just a handful of our exciting programs. At the heart of all of our work is a commitment to equity in engineering, opening doors of support and opportunity to a more diverse next generation of engineers, and creating more equitable access to the life-enhancing innovations that only engineering can bring, especially to underserved communities around the world. The statistics speak for themselves. Women represent more than half the U.S. college-educated workforce, yet they are less than 15% of this country's engineers. The numbers for other underrepresented groups are equally unacceptable. Making the engineering profession more equitable isn't just the right thing to do. Innovation demands that we harness the best talent from the full diversity of humanity and share their solutions with those who need them most. That's what we mean by equity in engineering, and it's why we are inviting all of you to join us in this work, because none of this is possible without our individual, corporate, and foundation donors, and the support that we receive every single day from our ASME volunteer leadership, our worldwide membership, and our partners in academia and government. Well, we're ASME, so of course we have to utilize the latest technology. So from time to time during this presentation, a QR code will appear at the bottom of your screen. Just point your cell phone camera at it to go directly to the donate page of the ASME Foundation website, where you can also find more information about our programs. And right now, we'll start with education that inspires.
Getting to kids early on, I think the biggest thing that you do is you introduce them to the possibilities that they may not have thought about. You also show them how you can have fun solving problems, and then they're able to connect that to a career.
Brentwood became an engineering magnet in the fall of 2009, and that's where we became an engineering-focused school. The engineering design process, ask, imagine, plan, create, and prove, is the base of every lesson.
Whether it's a conflict with a peer, or if it's a problem in math as they're figuring out how to approach it, we're just exposing them to that way of thinking and teaching them how to be problem solvers in everything they do.
The philosophy with our school is get them before they know any different. Get them before the fear of failure takes hold. Students as young as 4 and 5 aren't scared to build something and have it fall over because they'll just build it again.
When they see failure happen, it's just a challenge for how can we make it better? What can we do next time to improve?
Brentwood builds collaboration skills by having all of our students involved, talking with each other, working with extra sets of hands.
They also start to realize that there's not just one solution to a problem. That's huge for kids. They really see the value in listening to others.
Valuing the different ideas, perspectives that people bring into problem solving ultimately lead to better outcomes. That's why growing engineers that maybe come from underserved communities, I think ultimately will help us think differently about the big problems and the big challenges that we have.
Programs that Discovery Education and ASME are creating, like Engineering Dreams, provide Title I and underserved students opportunities to see beyond the community they live. Children have their eyes opened and become more tolerant of different perspectives, different ideas, and the different needs of people across the globe.
The foundation, through its programs and services, does the work that's needed to help develop the future engineers that will fill this gap in technology and great minds that we have now that will enable us to solve all these big problems.
I think like an engineer to me means be more creative. Don't think inside the box. You're so far away from the box that you can't even see the box anymore.
Engineering can improve my community by help making me think that I need to do better for my community.
I just think it motivates me even more to pursue my dreams and careers.
Support for the ASME Foundation enables these programs to grow, enables us to touch more students who would otherwise not have known about all these opportunities and possibilities for them. It expands our reach and enables us to grow more future engineers.
Hello, my name is Mahantesh Hiremath, and it's a privilege to serve as president of ASME. ASME's mission is to advance engineering for the benefit of humanity, and that is expressed in many ways, probably most effectively through our philanthropic work. It's a work that empowers a more diverse, better prepared, and multidisciplinary engineering workforce. First and foremost, the engineers are problem solvers. We just find a better way of doing something and then go ahead and do it. It takes a lot of training, a good deal of creativity, and most of all, support, a kind of resource only ASME can provide. That is why it is gratifying to see the impact of ASME's programs on advancing our mission and empowering the next generation of problem solvers. And that is why the leadership of ASME is proactively investing in this. At our recent meeting of the Board of Governors, we voted to seed the Foundation's campaign for the next generation of engineers with a substantial contribution, $5 million over 4 years. This is as a demonstration of our faith in these programs that do so much to serve the future of our profession. Hopefully, this investment will encourage others to help us to reach our goal of raising $50 million to ensure that the next generation of engineers have the same opportunity they need to make the world safer, healthier, more sustainable, and more productive than ever before. Our keynote speaker today is a dear friend of mine and has something to say about opening doors of opportunity. Chandrakant Patel is the Chief Engineer and Senior Fellow at Hewlett-Packard. Chandrakant is a member of Silicon Valley Engineering Council's Hall of Fame. That Hall of Fame includes Hewlett-Packard of HP, Andy Grove of Intel, Steve Wozniak of Apple, and ASME's past president, Professor Terry Shoup, among others. I had the privilege to nominate Chandrakant for this honor. As a young man, Chandrakant was introduced to engineering at a community college, the City College of San Francisco, and discovered his passion for problem solving. It launched him into higher academic degrees and on the very path that would lead to the very pinnacle of his profession. Building the next generation of workforce demands greater access to technical training. That is why we are so excited to launch a brand new philanthropic initiative called Community College Engineering Pathways, providing new roads to rewarding technical careers. Our pilot program is already underway at 6 community colleges around the country, as well as a companion program focusing on historically Black colleges and universities. To continue our conversation about the important role of community colleges, I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Charles Davis, Professor of Engineering at Valencia College in Orlando, Florida.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Charles Davis. I am an associate professor at Valencia College. And the email that I received from the American Society of Mechanical Engineers asking if I'd be interested in participating in a new pilot program focusing on community colleges definitely got my attention because the timing couldn't be better. Right now, there are literally millions of good paying technical jobs going unfilled. Jobs for which you need technical skills, but not necessarily a 4-year degree. At the same time, there are millions of bright young people motivated to fill those jobs, but may lack awareness of and access to these opportunities. There are 3 powerful ways that ASME's Community College Engineering Pathway Program will help us bridge that gap. First, helping us align our curriculum with the fast-changing needs of the marketplace. Second, enhancing community college resources for career development support. And third, establishing networks with employers to place our students in internships, apprenticeships, and jobs. Community colleges like Valencia are ideally suited to help build the technical workforce our country needs. But we can't do it alone. ASME's CCEP program is exactly the kind of support we need at the exact moment we need it. My sincere thanks to the ASME Foundation for supporting this effort. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. Dr. Davis is absolutely right. The demand side needs for in the cyber physical age, an age where cyber and physical come together, is huge. And he's absolutely right. The community colleges are well poised to provide the supply side workforce needed for the 21st century cyber physical age. In my talk, in a few minutes, I will make the case by starting with my own example. I came to the United States, and maybe in the second day in San Francisco, I needed to find a way to go to one of the 4-year colleges in the area, University of California, Berkeley, San Jose State. But there was no time to do that. The colleges had already begun, and I didn't know how I could translate my transcripts and get into a 4-year program. So walking down to Market Street, I see a bus coming. It says 12 Muni City College of San Francisco. I'll tell you, that is the best bus ride I ever took. I took that bus to City College of San Francisco, walked into the admissions office, and they told me that there is indeed a way where I could do first 2 years at City College and then transfer to Berkeley. And they actually asked me to go to the bookstore and pick up a catalog. And here's my catalog from 1978. That night, I stayed up all night looking through very highly marked page here of all the core lower division courses I must take. I created a study list, and not used to how the system operates in the United States, it took me a long time to figure out how I would balance my job as a dishwasher while attending college, while living in a low-income hotel. But I was able to do that with the resources available, this particular catalog. So you might say, okay, that you got lucky, Chandrakant. It's just one. You don't show me scale. So I would say, okay, pause. After I attended Berkeley, I started working. I took up a job as an adjunct faculty at Chabot College in Hayward. Over a period of 16 years, I guided my students. I estimate about 500 of them to either a 2-year certificate program or a 4-year university program. I placed my students in some of the biggest IPOs that have happened in some of the biggest companies in Silicon Valley. I have students who are in a variety of cyber physical companies. And at the same time, I had students who had 2-year certificates who got jobs as a technician and are now senior technicians and the like. All of them got placed. So what did I do to enable this workforce placement and the workforce development? Really, 3 things. The students were brilliant. I had to do nothing about that. All I had to do was guidance. The biggest challenge we have is what I went through, looking through the catalog and understanding what courses to take. That's guidance. Shaping the strategic curriculum, that is guidance. Helping them imbue the subject, that is guidance. I found my students did everything else. Brilliant. And what's more, it is the most diverse workforce I have yet to see. They are all from my community. So just like that video Kathleen showed that always gives me goosebumps, the cyber physical video with this diverse community, that's what my students were. So I argue that if I could scale to 500, surely we could scale to millions. Indeed, I am emboldened that with guidance, with the right support, we can shape the millions that are needed for the jobs of the cyber physical age. Exactly what Dr. Davis was talking about. And in order to do that, we need help from all quarters: public sector, private sector, professional societies. And indeed, ASME has stepped up. What you are seeing is ASME in action. On what? On guidance, on strategic curriculum, on strategic programs, and by soliciting help from public and private sector so that we could fund these programs and create the millions that will be needed for the 21st century cyber physical age. And I guarantee you, you will meet the D&I targets hands down. Because when you hire from the community, you will get diversity and inclusion that we all desire. I am very excited and I am thrilled to be part of this program. And with that, I thank you very much.
Chandrakant, thank you again. Every time I get a chance to talk to you, especially about education, engineering education, it's a special day for me. So we've got a couple of questions here for you, sir, if you don't mind. And the first one relates to, maybe it's a little self-serving, but that's what this is about today. So in your opinion, what role do you think professional societies like ASME should play in supporting community college ecosystems?
So ASME has multiple roles. One, we just heard about the programs. That's absolutely impedance matched with what is needed. What ASME has the ability to do is, in light of the socio-economic, ecological, and technological trend, they are sort of the lighthouse that can help strategically shape the workforce. So one of the things is, I understand from the recent National Academy of Engineering study that I think there are about 3.5 million technical jobs that will be created in cyber, physical, and life sciences. So what ASME can do is help shape the 2-year certificate programs. ASME can also get support from private sector and individuals to create this campaign that can help the community colleges. And also the members of the ASME, those like me, can play the role in creating the strategic curriculum and even play the role in being faculty and mentors to those students. Look at the membership you have. You bring immense scale. And so professional society, by virtue of being able to bring immense scale, you are doing exactly what one Chandrakant was doing to 500. Now you have hundreds of Chandrakant you can unleash and create the scale. The scale is millions needed. I think that's what professional societies. Job one.
Well, thank you, sir. And again, when I was out to visit you last, I did see a couple of printers. I didn't know that we could use them to create some more Chandrakants, but that would be absolutely perfect in my way. So another quick question for you, if you don't mind. I know you give a lot back to community colleges through your advocacy, mentorship, teaching, and support. For our broader engineering audience that is listening to you right now, what are some of the ways that you might recommend for them to support our community college ecosystem?
I think the way they can begin is with engagement. So get engaged with professional society, engage with ASME. And by the knowledge that they have in the various sectors they operate in, whether it's public sector, private sector, help shape the strategic curriculum. We will need millions who will graduate with certificates in life sciences, cyber sciences, physical sciences. Help shape that. And above all, this is after all a campaign. And Mahantesh set a target. Help with donation to reach that target so we could have the scale. It is all about scale. And if there's one thing I could leave this audience with, is it about scale and what is the platform that delivers scale? And I just described that ASME is the platform by virtue of the membership who are like hundreds of Chandrakants, by virtue of strategic curriculum, by virtue of pilots, and by being an organization that can bring the funds impedance match to the needs. Impedance matching is critical.
I would agree. And Chandrakant, on behalf of all of us at ASME, thank you again for spending a few minutes and sharing your story. I've heard a longer version of it, but every time I listen to it, I learn something new. So as Mahantesh mentioned, everyone, ASME has graciously donated $5 million gift to the campaign. A portion of this is being used for the initial funding for the Community College Engineering Pathways Program. Work is already underway, and we are welcoming additional support. So please, you can use the QR code at the bottom of your screen to visit the donation page of the Foundation website. And if you're able to, support this work and all of the work of our powerful programs.
My name is Miracle Ndegu. I come from Ghana. I'll be an E4C Fellow in 2021 in Advancing Sustainable Development Goal 3, which is good health and well-being.
I'm going to be a 2021 E4C Fellow, Advancing Sustainable Development Goal number 7, which is affordable and clean energy, and number 13, which is climate action.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Viola, ASME's Director of Corporate and Foundation Relations. Engineering for Change Research Fellowships are one of the ways ASME Foundation supports young engineers early in their professional journeys, while also increasing opportunities for women and others who are underrepresented in the profession. This year, we received 650 applications from 80 countries. And thanks to a generous grant from the Autodesk Foundation, we were able to double the number of fellows from 25 in previous years to 50 in 2021. These fellows were matched with other nonprofit organizations and social enterprises to support sustainability projects that address critical quality of life challenges, like studying the feasibility of low-cost solar cooking technology in Madagascar and Papua New Guinea, to name just one. E4C fellowships are collaborative by design. Through them, we're able to share our unique research methodology, human-centered design approach, and extraordinary engineering talent with other organizations, enabling us to significantly scale our impact. You can learn more about this important work at engineeringforchange.org. But for now, let's meet some of this year's E4C Fellows.
As an E4C Fellow, I will be working with Autodesk Foundation. I hope that it becomes the first step to have a solid career in the humanitarian and development sector.
As an E4C Fellow working with Autodesk, I will be looking at the impact of CAD software on development in the social sector. I believe everything we design should be intentional, meaningful, and purposeful, and better serve our communities.
Engineering is a subject I'm so passionate about, and I see the potential in it to create opportunities to learn and share knowledge and improve the quality of life in communities globally.
I think it's a unique chance to combine working with amazing technology and actually make an impact and improve lives.
I hope that I will be a part of the digital transformation that's been taking place all over the world.
I ascribe to the old wisdom of equitable, collaborative and communal solution building for a better world, and I am here to play my part.
This year I'm thrilled to celebrate this first E4C Fellow cohort sponsored by the Autodesk Foundation. I want to thank the E4C Fellows for all of their hard work, your inspiring dedication, and most of all, the incredible design projects and support you provided to the organizations we support.
That was excellent. What great insights into the impact of the E4C fellowships. Ever since ASME started the E4C program nearly 10 years ago, I've been taken by the urgency and impact of its work. We are so grateful to Autodesk Foundation for their support of this program. Thanks to Autodesk, we were able to double the number of fellowships we awarded in 2021, and we're delighted to report that Autodesk has renewed their support for 2022. Joining us today is one of the E4C Fellows, Sahar Shamsi, a mechanical engineer from the University of Toronto and a 2021 E4C Research Fellow. Sahar spent 6 months of this year researching clean water systems and renewable energy, working with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, or NREL. It's my pleasure to introduce Sahar Shamsi.
Thank you so much, Keith. It's great to have the opportunity to speak with you today.
So let's get started. Sahar, E4C Fellows work on solutions that address the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Can you tell us which goals you worked on and the nature of your research project?
Yeah, of course. So during the fellowship, the project that I worked on was for the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, or NREL, where I focused on supporting NREL's Waves to Water prize competition, which is a $3.3 million competition made up of 5 stages, in which innovators are tasked with creating wave-powered desalination systems that produce clean water for disaster relief scenarios, for water-scarce coastal or island communities. And this work advances Sustainable Development Goals number 6, clean water and sanitation, as well as Sustainable Development Goals number 7, affordable and clean energy. So my role in this project was to support the 10 innovators in the 4th stage of the competition, known as the Create stage, where competitors submit prototypes or proof of concepts for their wave-powered desalination units. I helped to identify and tackle gaps in both the technical design aspects as well as their business strategies in order to help solidify their design for the next and final stage of the competition. Part of my work was also to support the innovators in effectively bringing their product to market through a market analysis looking into any competitors as well as potential end users.
This sounds like a great project. Some folks may not be familiar with the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Can you tell us a little bit about their work?
Yeah, of course. So the National Renewable Energy Laboratory is a research laboratory for the United States Department of Energy. NREL itself focuses on the research and development of clean, renewable energy systems with the goal to achieve solving energy challenges that we see today. So this includes research around renewable energy, energy efficiency, energy systems integration, as well as sustainable transportation. And one of the key areas that they focus their research on is, of course, water, leading to the development of this Waves to Water prize competition in an effort to advance development in this sector.
Well, they're a great lab, having worked with them a little bit during my career. Tell us a little bit about your experience, what it's like to be an E4C Research Fellow.
Being a research fellow has been a truly enriching experience because E4C and ASME are incredibly supportive of their fellows, They gave me the chance to explore so many opportunities both within the fellowship and outside of it. So my project with NREL, for example, gave me the opportunity to work alongside entrepreneurs on the development and commercialization of new technologies, giving me the chance to develop my technical engineering skills while understanding how to support entrepreneurs in a meaningful way to bring their products to market. Outside of the fellowship, there was also opportunities that I had. I was able to connect with other fellows and ASME's global community, developing my network and expanding it globally. When I showed interest in ASME's ISHOW, a hardware-led social innovation accelerator, ASME gave me the opportunity to facilitate a hardware validation session, which was an absolutely amazing opportunity for me to understand how accelerators work and how to work with entrepreneurs further. I absolutely loved it.
Sounds great. In my career, I worked on building power plants all over the world, and it was very gratifying to know that we were bringing electricity to communities that, in some cases, never had a reliable source of power before. What do you find most gratifying about this work?
Oh, I completely agree, Keith. Being able to do my part in bringing about tangible change is definitely the most gratifying part of this work. What I loved most about the approach that E4C and NREL took in this project is that their goal was to serve both people and the planet through the development of their clean technology. It not only kept benefits to the user central to the design, but also reduced environmental impact in a meaningful and long-term sustainable way. So being able to have that kind of impact on multiple fronts is absolutely incredible.
It's a great feeling. If you can sum up in a few sentences, what do you get out of your experience as an E4C research fellow? What can you future fellows hope to get out of their fellowships?
Yeah, so overall, the fellowship for me was an amazing experience. So through my project, I was able to use my engineering skill set towards solving pressing global challenges that we see today. And alongside developing technical skills, I'm now connected to a global network of like-minded fellows who are all passionate about creating change using their technical skills. So I think a future fellow can also expect an enriching experience just like mine that allows them to play their role in solving today's pressing challenges, as well as introduce them to a strong community that also strives to achieve impact and make tangible change. I would say that the combination of technical skill development and strong like-minded community is invaluable.
Well, you're off to a great start, and you've been doing some great things, Sahar. Thanks. So what's next for you? Where do you want to take your engineering career?
Yeah, so working on this project with NREL furthered my passion for working on novel technology to solve today's pressing challenges. And it also helped me show that I really enjoy working with entrepreneurs. Working with ISHOW itself also sparked my interest in accelerators as a means to support these entrepreneurs. This led me to join Climate Ventures at the Center for Social Innovation located in Toronto, Canada, where I am a program coordinator for 6 accelerator programs supporting clean tech entrepreneurs in all 13 provinces and territories of Canada. I hope to be able to continue to support the development of novel technologies in this way that are really needed in our world today, and I want to do my part to solve these challenges.
That sounds exciting. As I've said to some others, I listen to this and you make me wish I was just starting out with all those opportunities that lie ahead. Sahar, thank you so much, and good luck to you in your future work.
Thank you so much, Keith.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Burton O'Toole, and as last year's recipient of the ASME Kate Gleason Award, it's my privilege to announce this year's honoree. What makes this award so meaningful is that it's an ASME society-level honor that specifically recognizes the outstanding contributions of women engineers. Kate Gleason was an amazing person. She was the first woman admitted as a member of ASME way back in 1918. And before that, she was the first woman admitted to Cornell University's Mechanical Arts program. She later took over her father's machine shop and grew it to the next level. A company, by the way, that still exists today and employs over 2,200 people on 3 continents. I won't go into all of her accomplishments, but she's a fascinating woman who left a trail of shattered glass ceilings in every endeavor she undertook. And there were so many. When I studied mechanical engineering at Duke University, it was the strong female role models and mentors on the faculty there whom I credit for showing me the path toward an engineering career. And then at MIT, I was so thrilled to reverse roles and become the mentor to other young women who looked to me as an example as they navigated their own career paths. Today, in my job at Hearst Lab, I work exclusively with women entrepreneurs, providing financial resources and guidance as they build tech startups into thriving women-owned businesses. And that's why I feel so lucky to introduce our next speaker, a woman who charted a very different path, right to the very top of her profession. I can't claim to know a lot about NASCAR, but I do know this. Auto racing is incredibly competitive. There are clear winners and losers, and the margins that determine who wins and who loses are often measured in milliseconds. Alba Colon Rodriguez has lived in this world for decades, first as a young engineer at Formula SAE, then at General Motors' Chevrolet Racing Division, and for the past 3 years as Director of Competition Systems at Hendricks Motorsports, where the engineering group she leads has delivered more first-place finishes than any other NASCAR team. Alba is the 9th woman to receive the Kate Gleason Award, and like those recipients who preceded her, she's working hard to cultivate the next generation of women engineers. And not just women, but also the young men who are studying engineering at the University of Puerto Rico. She's active in the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers and is a tireless advocate for women and girls seeking to pursue technical careers. It is my honor to introduce the 2021 ASME Kate Gleason Award honoree, Alba Colon Rodriguez.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you to the ASME Kate Gleason Award Committee for this incredible honor. I am humbled to be here with all of you today. As Lisa said, Kate Gleason was a true pioneer in so many ways. Her list of accomplishments could fill volumes of pages, and it seems like every single one of them was preceded by the same 4 words, the first woman to. Kate lived and worked in many different worlds: engineering, construction, banking, philanthropy, and back then, all of them were dominated by men. In that respect, I can certainly relate. Pioneers like Kate paved the way for me to have an opportunity in the racing business. She and others like her showed that with confidence, resilience, and a whole lot of hard work, we can earn our place and break down even more barriers. Thanks to the wonderful work of organizations like ASME, many more women will be inspired and supported to apply their talent and pursue their dreams, whatever they may be. When I was a little girl in Puerto Rico, my dream was to become an astronaut. My role model was Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. By seeing a woman become a scientist and an astronaut, I knew the same was also possible for me. So I decided way back then to become an engineer and be the first Puerto Rican, and I will say Puerto Rican woman, in space. Well, half of that dream came true. At the University of Puerto Rico in Mayagüez, I earned my mechanical engineering degree and traded my interest in space flight for a passion for automotive technology. That led to a 23-year career at General Motors in the Chevrolet Racing Division, where our teams won 12 NASCAR championships. I have always believed that diversity drives innovation, and that was true during my tenure at General Motors. In 2018, I left GM for a job in North Carolina at Hendricks Motorsports, where I now have a privilege to lead an amazing engineering group that is part of a team that has more NASCAR championships than any other, including this season. Our success is rooted in a culture that values performance, both on and off the track. It's a culture where you are evaluated not on who you are, on who you know, but on what you can do. And now, I believe it's my responsibility to help give others their chance. By being engaged with my alma mater in Puerto Rico, through Formula SAE, and mentoring students, and giving them the confidence that with talent and hard work and support from organizations like ASME, the possibilities are truly limitless. I need them to know I am there for them in the same way so many people have been there for me. Days like today would not have been possible without the love and encouragement from my family and the incredible support of my friends and family at the University of Puerto Rico and Mayagüez. Also, my teammates at General Motors and now at Hendricks Motorsports. I could not accept this amazing honor without expressing my thanks to them. 100 years ago, Kate Gleason showed the engineering world what she could do. And today, there is an engineering school named for her. My hero, Sally Ride, showed me and the entire world what was possible, and she became a NASA legend. I know there are thousands of little Kates and Sallys out there with big dreams of their own, and I hope to continue doing my part to help them to reach for the stars, or in my case, for that checkered flag. Thank you all very much.
India today reported a new daily death toll of over 4,000 and more than 400,000 new cases. It's the world's worst COVID surge.
One of the big questions facing the healthcare system in India is the supply of adequate number of medical equipment like ventilators and masks.
I'm joined by a very special guest who is joining me from the United States. Now, she's part of a research team that have developed and designed splitters for ventilators. It's, of course, very appropriately named ISAVE. Tell us more about this and how did you come upon this idea?
Sure. So last year when COVID hit the United States, physicians had reached out and basically asked for what's the best way to increase short-term capacity of respiratory care devices. And so we assessed all of the different options and then looked at this option, which for just a fraction of the cost allows you to double a CPAP, BiPAP, high flow oxygen therapy, or ventilator device to 2 patients with customized support for each patient so that that ventilation is safe.
During the crisis, we were working basically all day, all night. We applied for regulatory approval there. We built a network in India basically from scratch. In the end, really, we had our device in, I think, 10 hospitals to actually be there at the front line and support clinicians in their daily work.
At the height of the crisis in India, a lot of the feedback that we were getting from medical staff is that we need this right now, and we need a lot of them, and every hospital will need them.
This is going to be very helpful for us to tide over the crisis.
ISHOW really helped us getting additional manufacturers and potential distributors into our network. It's not enough to just have the technology and design it and develop it and test and validate it, but it's really the challenge is to implement. And the moment it comes to implementation, one needs 2 things. One needs funds and one needs a network of people who know how to do things that you can't do. From that angle, it was incredibly valuable to have ISHOW on our side.
I think the ISHOW experience helped us sort of reframe how we were thinking about moving into new countries. So we had launched in India in the height of the crisis, and we wanted to kind of rethink and reevaluate our strategy as we expanded to other countries. So being able to tell that story during the ISHOW process, and then also working with some of the mentors after to figure out what kinds of distributors should we be working with, what should be our manufacturing strategy. Those things have helped us as we move forward to expand into other geographies beyond India, which was really our beachhead market. We really want to find ways to bring these low-cost yet effective solutions to places that need them most to reduce that health equity gap. And that's really at the center of our mission at Project Prana.
I truly believe that building technology is one of the few ways you can do the three golden things in healthcare: increasing access to care, increasing quality of care, while reducing the cost. And engineering is really about coming up with creative solutions to reach that goal for us in the healthcare space, but I think in general, far beyond.
Isn't Project Prana amazing? That's just one example of the life-changing innovations that ASME's Engineering Global Development programs support. There are many more examples of such work on our website, asmefoundation.org, and I invite you to take a look. My name is Keith Miles, and I'm ASME's Director of Major Gifts. My job is to work with individual donors to help them better understand their giving options and create a gift that meets their charitable goals. There are so many ways to give, and I'd be happy to meet with you individually to talk over all of the many options that ASME makes available to our generous donors. And please consider joining us on Giving Tuesday, this November 30th from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time for a Zoom seminar explaining these giving opportunities. Visit the events page on the ASME Foundation website for the link to register. If you can't wait for the seminar, use the QR code at the bottom of your screen to go to the donate page of our website to make a gift today. Now, I'd like to introduce a wonderful ASME member and volunteer, an incredibly generous donor, and someone I am so proud to call my friend, Ken Balkey. Ken retired as a longtime consulting engineer at Westinghouse, but remains an adjunct faculty lecturer at the Swanson School of Engineering at the University of Pittsburgh, and a very generous supporter of the ASME Scholarship Program. Hi, Ken.
Hey, thank you, Keith, and hello, everyone.
Ken, you and your wife, Ruth Ann, recently established an ASME Scholarship for engineering students. What prompted you to do that?
Well, Keith, I've had a wonderful career as an engineer, and I received an athletic scholarship when I was in engineering school 50 years ago, shortly after my dad lost his job. And in working with students in ASME at Pitt, I see how challenging it can be to pay to attain an engineering degree today. For many students, the cost of an engineering education is an enormous obstacle, particularly if illness or job loss to a student or their parent occurs. Some students also struggle to find adequate time for studying while working their way through school. Others accumulate massive debt. And saddest of all, some students have to drop out or never get started because the financial barriers are so high. So Ruth Ann and I decided to help ease that financial burden by establishing a scholarship. We personally know how invaluable it is to receive a scholarship at a difficult time.
I understand that you didn't stop with just one scholarship. You decided to bring others into the ASME scholarship fold as well.
I've been privileged to serve for many years in ASME Standard and Certification Organization. This is a group of engineers who volunteer to set the codes and standards for engineering and manufacturing that ensures the products we use every day are safe and reliable. I'm reaching out to my colleagues in that organization, and so far, 2 more of them have agreed to join Ruth Ann and me in establishing ASME scholarships.
That's fantastic, Ken. I think we need to give a shout out to Jerry Eisenberg, a longtime ASME staff member, and Sid Bernson, a long-standing ASME volunteer, for stepping up that way. And while we're at it, A tip of the hat to another generous scholarship funder, the ASME Auxiliary. What's next for you, Ken?
Oh, we're just getting started. I'm asking everyone in standards and certification, and anyone else who will listen, to join us in this effort. It really is a tangible and immediate way to see your generosity at work. And it's one of the best ways we can promote diversity in the engineering workforce by lowering financial barriers to an engineering education. Already, nearly half of our scholarships go to women and others who are underrepresented in the field today. As I tell my fellow volunteers, don't wait until after you're gone to make a gift to the ASME Foundation. Pay it forward now, while you're still around, to see your gift and your legacy make a difference.
That's wonderful, Ken. Thank you for all you do to support the campaign for Next Generation Engineers. And I hope I'll see everyone at our seminar on November 30th.
Thank you, Ken and Keith. Engineering touches almost every part of our lives, and it is engineering that will determine so much of our future. Engineers make things work and build the new things the rest of us can only dream about. They make real what to others seems impossible. Engineers invent, they save lives. Engineers make life better. And there is so much for so very many that must get better. But engineers can't do it alone. Before they can build the future, we must be there for them, for the diverse young talent who will lead us into the future. It takes years to make an engineer and a whole scaffolding of support, starting in grade school, all the way through college, and on to productive, meaningful work. Talented young people are everywhere, but not the inspiration, education, and access they need. This is the work of ASME Philanthropy. And we believe that engineering should benefit every single human being. Right now, there are people all around the world who are drinking clean water, growing more food, using renewable energy, people living better lives thanks to ASME programs that spur innovation. The world simply can't afford to leave the brilliant ideas of young engineers behind, but they need a whole architecture of support, networking opportunities, business guidance, a sense of community, and so much more. This too is the work of ASME Philanthropy. But we have only just begun. There is so much that is possible. Each of us, individuals and organizations, must decide how we're going to make the world better through our donations. Please consider joining us in this important work. You have the QR code at the bottom of your screen. You can visit the donate page, or you can give us a call and support ASME's philanthropic programs with a gift that will change lives. In doing that, you'll join a group of supporters that is already 6,000 strong. Individuals and organizations who have stepped up to help us bring about what is truly transformational change. We'd like to take a moment to thank them, starting with the campaign cabinet. These individuals from both inside and outside of ASME provide the leadership to guide our $50 million capital campaign, headed by our tireless chair, Keith Rowe. And I'd like to personally thank these ASME senior volunteer and staff leaders. Their guidance is invaluable to the success of our campaign. And we are so grateful to our host committee members who are helping with this fundraising effort. They're the ones who encouraged many of you to be here with us today. And we're so appreciative of every single one of the thousands of individuals who stepped up with a gift to the ASME Foundation. Among them, these major donors stand out for their incredible generosity. The ASME Foundation would also like to thank the companies, foundations, and other organizations that support this work with significant financial backing for our programs. And finally, these ASME technical divisions not only made gifts to the foundation, but many of their members engaged to help implement the programs. Every gift to the ASME Foundation is an expression of optimism, a belief in the promise of a better tomorrow brought to you by the ingenuity of an engineer. Thank you so much for joining us today and for empowering a diverse and brilliant next generation of engineers who will transform the world.